Oh, really?
all that. So we
Okay.
handle their payroll and stuff like that.
I got it.
I hear feedback.
Now you,
Okay,
now you
Yeah,
know.
we should. I have mine off. Are these your
Yeah.
keys, Mary Beth?
Yes.
Okay.
How much do you want me to zoom in on you, Greg?
That's good.
That's good?
That's
Okay.
good. I don't, sometimes Andy comes and he sits next to me.
Okay.
I don't know.
do most people attend by Zoom or? Yeah, it's convenient, but at the same time, you don't get the interaction that I think sometimes is missing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's tough to gauge everybody's social cues and the nonverbal communication.
Yeah, especially when they, you know, they turn off their cameras, you don't know what they're doing.
Right.
You don't even know if they're there. But still, I think it probably handles 75% of meeting content effectively. It's the nonverbal stuff.
Right.
But you know, I find that missing 25-30% to be critical sometimes.
I agree. Make sure this is being live streamed.
No, he's at Manoa, Jesse. He's assigned
Hey.
you folks.
I heard my name, but I don't see anybody.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Jesse. I don't know if you can see me. Mike, yeah, here.
Oh, I see you. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Jess.
I'm just gonna listen in. Gary's gonna cover.
Cannot, you gotta give advice.
No, I cannot, I cannot watch without being a panelist.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, Mary Beth, Roberta's daughter-in-law is expecting today.
Oh,
So she isn't sure that she's gonna be able to call in, but if she does call in, she probably is just gonna be able to stay for a little while.
okay,
So Julie is supposed to chair the meeting today.
okay.
Set it up with Julie. So I don't even know if Roberta's gonna call.
And you, Roberta's daughter had given birth.
Yeah, now it's the son. Oh, she just
Wow.
texted me. She said she'll zoom in, but I don't know how long it can stay.
Well, her kids are like 2 years to 3 years apart.
Something like that, yeah. So she's actually in LA today.
She was up in Seattle before.
Portland.
Oh, her.
Okay. They both, Diana and Roberta, just logged in.
Wait, can you turn the camera so we can get Mike or?
Oh, that's right. I could be on the picture.
You don't want to sit next to Greg?
I'm ex officio. And not official.
Hey, Diana.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Diana.
Don't you want to be in the picture?
I think it's official.
Oh,
Hey Greg, everybody.
hi.
Hi, Roberta.
Diana, can you say something again? We're just trying to get the volume right.
Sure. I'm drinking delicious iced tea.
Oh, great.
So Greg, I just texted you that
Yeah.
I'm signing in. I don't know how long I can stay because my fourth grandchild was born today. So
Congratulations.
it's a bit hectic, yeah. I'm taking care of the older one.
Is Newton helping?
No, he's in Hilo. He's working.
Yeah,
That's
Julie
okay.
said she can chair the meeting.
Okay, perfect.
Waiting for her and Andy.
Yeah. Do you need me for quorum?
Not if we get Andy and Julie, we should be okay.
Okay.
Let me check. Yeah. We have Bill, you want me to promote him, yeah?
Who?
Bill?
Yeah. So Bill Stormont is gonna sit in for MK Soa.
Okay.
Right. Mike, do you know if Wayne is gonna join us?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I haven't talked to him in about a week. But I don't know. Does he usually join the post?
Yeah.
Okay,
Unless he's got, something else. He usually zooms in.
yeah.
I think Andy just pulled up, so.
Yeah, just an FYI, I was supposed to be assigned to that, the transfer working group, but I haven't met with them yet, so I guess then kudos going.
They haven't met in like three months.
Okay,
Yeah. I know that they're taking up an action at their board meeting on Thursday to hire a consultant to help with that. But we haven't met in 3 months.
okay. It's a lot of work that needs to be done there.
Yeah, and part of what's challenging is no cookie cutter right now.
Yep.
All of those sort of categories of things have to be looked at.
Individually.
Yeah,
Julie just joined.
okay. Oh, great.
And this bill.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, welcome.
Hey.
Hey, Bill.
Andy, you know Mike?
They might be here.
Nice to meet you, Mike.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Mary Beth.
Oh,
Yeah.
so Mary Beth is sitting in for Courtney.
Yeah.
She's our administration manager. She took Gwen's place.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool.
And then Mike is our newest regent from Hawaii Island. So he's been assigned with Wayne to be ex officio here.
Okay.
And
I
Andy
just
is,
wanted to say hello. I haven't met you before, but I recognize your name. And I used to work with your dad many, many years ago.
who, Mike?
No, Andy?
No.
Bill.
No, not Andy.
Or Meredith? Oh, Bill Sturman.
Oh,
Yes,
Stormont.
everyone worked with Bill's father.
That's I did too.
Loved his humor.
Okay, Julie, we have quorum.
No, this
Well,
one.
there's Wayne. You want to call the meeting to order? Roberta is online, but she doesn't know how long she can stay.
Okay. Okie dokie. It is now 5:01 PM, so I'm gonna call the meeting to order. We have full quorum. First on the, oh, I'm sorry, yikes. Sorry, my agenda disappeared. What's the first item on the agenda, Greg?
Oh, well, first we need to verify that everybody who's
thank
on
you.
Zoom is by themselves.
Yeah, sorry. If everyone is by themselves, no one else in the room, please raise your hand or say yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now we can move to our agenda items.
Yeah. So next item on the agenda is public comment. We have not received any testimony or anyone signing up to provide testimony tonight for tonight's meeting.
Thanks, Greg.
And then, so next on the agenda would be approval of the minutes of the July 2nd, 2024 Maunakea Management Board meeting. Hopefully folks have had a chance to review it.
Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of the?
So
I
moved.
move,
Last item.
Julie.
Oh, okay.
Second.
Roberta Chu and Diana Carr will second. All in favor, say aye or raise your hand. Next on the agenda. What happened?
Kahuku-Mauna
My
report.
agenda keeps disappearing from my screen. Sorry, go ahead.
Kahuku-Mauna. So before I jump in, for those who joined late, Roberta has a brand new grandchild. So she's calling in and she's got her hands full right now, helping with babysitting her older grandchild. So she may not be able to stay with us the whole time, but congratulations, Roberta.
Thank you.
Okay, Kahuku-Mauna report. There is an update that I wanted to provide all of you on some work that Kahuku-Mauna is working on. And I'm gonna pull up a few pictures to help explain what we're working on. So, as you know, there is an ahu at the summit of Pu'uvekiu. And one of the things that we have been challenged with, particularly our rangers, is managing access to that ahu. Technically, the trail that leads up to the summit is not a part of any formal DLNR trail designation or program like Na'alahele. So this trail is on our UH managed lands and falls under the jurisdiction of our rules. In the past, it's been a bit of a challenge with people wanting to go up there because they want to go up to the summit. And that ahu was originally built by the Royal Order of Kamehameha. So here you see in this picture, the sign that originally was there, explaining a little bit to folks what they were looking at and asking people not to go to the summit, hike to the summit. Unfortunately, that sign didn't really discourage people. And the volume of people going up there and the amount of trash that we were having to clean up on a weekly basis was becoming even more concerning, particularly after the pandemic, post-COVID. So what we did was that we updated that sign. And we tried to provide a bit more information about what Pu'uvekiu is about and its significance to Native Hawaiians, and kindly ask that people, discourage people to hike to the top of the Pu. What we have found is that, in fact, this language may actually be encouraging people going to the Pu. Because the idea of saying, we discourage you from going up there seems to have had the opposite effect. And so here are some photos of the kinds of things that are occurring on the pool. Our rangers go up there, they monitor the site, you know, on a daily basis, but we have rangers who go up there on a weekly basis to document what has happened up there, what people have left up there, et cetera. So when we find things like this, we basically kick them off the mountain. But unfortunately, we're not able to be there all the time. This is just some photos and some notes from the rangers' daily reports of the kinds of things that they find up there. It ranges from ho'okupu with food, which is really discouraged, various plant material, as well as other things like toilet paper. This is another shot of just some of the things that we encounter and find and have to clean up. So what we are doing is we're working with Kahuku Mauna, and we will be engaging a conversation with the Royal Order of Kamehameha, who actually are the real caretakers of that apu. They come in on certain significant days, such as the solstice and the equinoxes, other events, other holidays, and they'll come and do ceremony, but it's not consistent, it's not all the time. And so we're really the ones who are trying to ensure that the place is properly cared for. But it's our position that it really should be the Royal Order that decides who can go there and who is allowed to go there. So we are reaching out. Kaleo, our education and outreach coordinator, is reaching out to engage in a conversation to see if we can develop some kind of protocol where the Royal Order would be the entity to grant access. We would still manage the trail, but anybody who actually wants to go to the site and use the site, that they would have to receive permission from the Royal Order of Kamehameha. So this is something that we've been studying for a while. The situation has, you know, it's somewhat episodic, but it does seem over time to have gotten worse. Our rangers also, I should say, hike in once a month to Lake Waiau, which is not on our UH managed lands, and encounter and find similar kinds of things at the ahu there at Lake Waiau. So we notify DLNR, we notify DoCare about those, what they find. But that technically those are not, Lake Waiau is not on our UH managed lands. But we're continuing to find this kind of evidence of different kinds of activity that's occurring at the various sites. So as I said, this is we're working with Kahuku Mauna. We'll provide you updates as to how we what kind of agreement we come up with to address this issue. Any questions about Kahuku Mauna report?
Greg,
Yep.
question. And this is gonna sound really stupid. Are we obligated to demarc the summit?
When you say demarc, what do you?
Are
refer
we
to?
obligated by any of our rules or any other statute or any management plan to identify the path to the summit?
No, what we are obligated to do is provide access to Native Hawaiian cultural practitioners. That is something we are obligated to do.
right, but they can find their way there normally. My point is, and this is gonna sound really crazy, is there a way to take down all the signs and to make the path disappear? Scrub it down?
Yeah, you can take the signs down. I don't think you can make the path disappear. And even if we did, people would build another path, find another path,
Okay,
create another path.
thank you, sorry.
No,
Could I ask?
Sure.
So what's the sanction if the royal order doesn't grant access and someone goes anyway? What's the,
we can remove them from the mountain, and technically, we could issue a citation, with a fine. But, we have not, pulled that trigger since the rules have been developed.
and that wasn't on the signage?
Yeah. So we're thinking of much stronger language in the next iteration of the sign. That's what we're thinking.
But at this point, they're waiting for royal order to get back to you.
Yeah, we just talked to Kaleo today. This just came up. Well, we decided on this last week, so this just came up today, and Kaleo is reaching out today.
So depending upon what they say, then you take appropriate action.
Yeah. I mean, we have to do something.
Yeah.
And if they, for whatever reason, we can't work with them, we'll figure out what we can do. I mean, we have stronger language that we've drafted, but we don't really wanna have to go there. We don't have to. Any other questions from those on Zoom?
Okay, if no other questions, then let's move into the next item on the agenda, which is the executive director's report. Greg?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna pull up a few slides. What I wanted to do in my executive director's report tonight is review with you all, because I didn't have a chance to do it before the Regents meeting on July 18th. Some of the central pieces of that presentation regarding our joint management relationship with Maunakea Stewardship Oversight Authority. By the way, for those who don't know Bill Stormont is online today, and he's representing MK Soil. So welcome, Bill. Thanks for joining us. So as we have discussed, Act 255 calls for MK Soil and CMS, Center for Maunakea Stewardship, to jointly manage our UH managed lands during this 5-year transition period that ends in 2028. Initial discussions with MK Soil board prior to them hiring staff, we did agree that when it came to projects requiring some kind of permit or that would be developed or reviewed and approved under the guise of our Maunakea master plan, we did agree that MK Soil wanted to be able to review all what we call type B and type C projects. So what you're looking at here is a schematic from the master plan that was approved by the Regents in 2022 that outlines the flow of projects coming in and how they are classified as either type A, type B, or type C, and then sort of what happens at that point. So type B and type C projects are those that require either a site plan approval from DLNR or a department level or board approved permit from DLNR, such as a conservation district use permit. Type A projects are just, we get a letter of concurrence that the DLNR is okay with the project. That's like changing out a piece of instrumentation on the building or painting the building or something like that. So MKSOA requested that they wanted to review all type B and C projects. Okay. We don't have very many of them, but when we do have them, we will take them to MKSOA as well. Nahua, who's not able to be with us tonight, laid this out for us to describe kind of the whole process when a project comes in. And I know there's a lot of words here, but so I won't go into it. But basically, it details how we review a project when it first comes to CMS, and then when it's ready to take to the advisory groups, such as you folks, where that fits in the process, and then what happens after the project is approved. So as you see there in the middle there, we have added Maunakea MKSOA to the routing of these project reviews in the process. However, what this process does not capture is MKSOA's involvement at other steps in the process. Neither does it capture the fact that there are many things that we need to be working on together that aren't a project requiring a permit. They're programmatic. Or there's something that, we would like to do as part of our management plan or part of our master plan. So for example, we would like to create an interpretive trail in and around the visitor information station for people who do not go to the summit, where they can walk and they can learn about the different native plants that we are propagating and outplanting. So we needed to find a way to, and a structure and a process to integrate MKSOA into those reviews and conversations. So at the July 18th Board of Regents meeting, this is the proposal that we presented. I believe I've shared this with you folks before, but I can't recall 100%. But this is the proposal that we presented that is under discussion with MKSOA. And it involves the creation of what we're calling a joint management committee. So roughly speaking, the way that this would work is that we would create a Maunakea Executive Management Board. It's sort of the newest iteration of the working group that MKSOA put together originally that Wayne and Alapaki were sitting on. And that would be comprised of 2 members from the Board of Regents and then 2 members from the MKSOA board. Then we would convene a joint management committee comprised of myself and my staff, senior staff, John DeFries and his senior staff, and we would begin meeting bi-weekly. With one of the first tasks would be to come up with a committee charter, a group charter. How do we agree this committee is going to operate? In the third column there under focus, JMC focus, you'll see the types of issues and matters, topics that we would take up and discuss and come to some kind of agreed upon strategy or plan to move forward. This third column would basically sort of provide the overall structure for our agendas. And then the last column roughly talks about, at a very high level, our various roles, the various roles of these different groups. So for example, each organization, meaning CMS and or MKSOA, we have our own respective legal authorities and obligations, and we have to operate within and respect those legal authorities and obligations. So as an example, we don't really, and when I say we, CMS doesn't really have a choice about decommissioning underground fuel storage tanks. But we want to make sure that the project moves forward with MKSOA's input and their concerns or issues, considered in how that project moves forward. They have the authority to issue new leases and new permits and all of that. So all of our work that we were doing on getting a new general lease and then issuing new subleases, all of that is stopped because that's their kuleana. So we have to work within our respective legal authorities and obligations. We also have to work within the structure of each organization's delegation of authority. At the university, we have many more tiers or levels. And a lot of authority is delegated to my level. Not everything that we decide either at my level or Bonnie's level or President Lasner's level ever goes to the regents. The big things go to the regents, like lease approvals and master plan approvals and things like that. But a lot of decisions are made at our level. The authority is much smaller and much flatter. And they're early in their startup. So they are still developing what delegated on their part to their executive director and the members of the joint management committee. So part of what we're working on is figuring out how do we align these things. Because normally something that I would approve may actually, in MKSOA's case, has to go to their board. That's still to be determined. So we're figuring that out, but this structure allows us a mechanism to do that. If there are any disputes that we cannot resolve at the JMC level, those would go to the Executive Management Board, the EMB. And any disputes not resolved at that level would get elevated to respective boards, the Board of Regents or the MKSOA board. So this is the proposal for a structure and process that we have that's under discussion. In fact, the JMC has already met twice to begin to sort of map out and understand how we want to organize ourselves and how this will all work. I have one more slide, but let me stop there, see if there's any questions on this proposal. I don't know, Wayne, Mike, if you guys want to share anything from the Regent's perspectives that came up at the meeting.
I think if anything, very receptive to what's being proposed. I think you mentioned that it's preliminary at this point, and that you'd be at some point coming back with a final proposal for our consideration.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Wayne, anything to add?
Yeah, as it sits today, I don't see any problem it being approved by the full board.
Okay, that's good to hear. I know that we will be discussing this on Thursday with the Maunakea Stewardship Oversight Authority Board. Okay, so this is what's being proposed, but in anticipation of helping us, of needing to get organized, the JMC, what I did was that I drilled down a little bit more on some of the kinds of things that the JMC has in front of us. And I created this chart that will be sharing with the MKSOA board on Thursday, but that we've talked about at the JMC. So let me explain what you're looking at. In the left column where you see all those bullets there, those are just sort of key points that came out of our discussion at the JMC of how where responsibility of things lie and where there are overlapping areas of responsibility. So we created what I call the gray column. The gray column is the middle column, okay? So under CMS Kuleana, what you see there are those issues, and there's probably more, that are clearly university's responsibility to implement and manage. We have to, and we will communicate, coordinate, consult with MKSOA, but there are things that we will need to do from time to time to ensure that we are fulfilling our obligations under these various plans and policies and laws. On the right-hand side is what Act 255 clearly delineates as MKSOA's Kuleana. To develop a new management plan, to develop administrative rules, new leasing criteria, issuance of new permits and leases, et cetera, et cetera. There's probably other things that are missing here. The middle column shows where we have overlapping responsibilities or interests. And this is where kind of the rubber meets the road for the JMC. It's really how we are going to address these very specific items. And so this is just a sampling of things. I know there will be other issues that will come up. As an example, the long-term asset transfer working group headed by Ben Kudo is likely to reveal or identify other specific issues that probably will have to be worked out. Just as an example. The hope is, as we take these issues on one by one, we can come to some agreed upon method that we're going to address it, or who's going to address it, or who's got lead, or whatever. Okay. Then be able to sort of report back to our boards, you know, how this is going to be addressed. This is all still very much in flux. It is very fluid at this point. But just trying to provide some tools to organize the JMC's, our thinking and our sort of approach to how we're gonna work on things. So this is sort of the second iteration of that first chart that I showed you. And like I said, we'll be reviewing all of this with MKSOA's board on Thursday. So that's where kind of things are at this point. Any questions?
No question, but just a comment. I like how it's laid out, and I'm really happy that you guys are pursuing this.
Thank you. We needed a structure and process and a way to begin organizing the work that we have in front of us.
Quick question. Is there anything in the central blue which is not obviously going to be MKSOA's in the long run?
Not obviously.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I'm asking about the blue items in the center. Just trying to get a feel for whether all of that will end up as MKSOA's responsibility in the long term.
Thank you.
Guess it has to.
Well, university has some decommissioning commitments tied to the TMT CDUP. It is unclear what happens to that CDUP. So clearly, the future determination of the future number of observatories going forward is MKSOA's Kuleana. But in the meantime, we have these commitments on the books. So we need to come to an agreement about how we're going to handle that. Because those commitments are basically tied to a permit that allows TMT to go be built. Any other questions?
I'm aware this is a work in progress, but is there a time frame that you guys are working on with regards to clearly defining those responsibilities and interests?
This has not been laid out on a timeline yet. I know that big picture MKSO is wanting to hire a consultant to help with some of that sort of big picture process. But I think, you know, I mean, I don't want to speak for MKSO, but I think that they have some internal things that they still need to work through about what is their executive director and Lloyd and Bill authorized to make decisions about. And I think that has to be worked through before we'll have a clear idea of timeline.
Thank you.
Hey, Greg, if I may, I'll just briefly, first of all, thank you for laying this out in a really well done way. Appreciate that. It is, as all know, a work in progress. The timeline is going to be challenging. Sooner the better, obviously. I think we acknowledge that stuff in the middle column. We know that some of that will linger through the transition period into the time when MKSOA is formally managing the mountain. Some of that will be done prior, and so those will probably move to that left column. So and some of those are going to be easier than others to sort out, but it's truly a work in progress. But the conversations we've had have been very encouraging, and I appreciate Greg's efforts and his staff. We all do with MKSOA. The conversations have been beyond collegial. They've been great and productive, and we're all in this to make sure we're taking care of the mountain and the community. So I just wanted to offer that, Greg. Thanks.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate that. Any other questions? Hearing none, Julie, that concludes my executive director's report for this evening.
Thanks, Greg. If we're moving on to the next session, which is our next agenda item, we would like to move into the executive session in order for the board to discuss duties, privileges, immunities, liabilities, etc., with regards to HRS 92-5A4. Regarding the board's decision-making process, if I could have a motion for us to end this session, move into executive session, and then we'll come back after the executive session to continue our conversation.
I move that we move into executive session.
Thank you, Greg. You have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Diana. Motion to, for us to move forward, can I get a vote or show of hands as to agreement to the motion?
Agree.
So moved. Okay, so we will end this session and move into executive session. We'll see you in a bit, Bill.
No, I'm checking out, but
Oh,
thanks,
you're checking out.
everybody.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you,
Bill.
Bill.
We'll see you again.
Thank you, Bill.
You bet. Hello.
Have a nice evening.
Thanks.
I thought that could be a board member.
Okay.
So we leave this
Oh, you Kurt?
Yeah.
Oh, so you worked with Tom.
Yeah.
Gary, you have your school colors on.
Yep,
Getting ready for football season?
of course.
What's the buzz on campus about the team?
I'm not sure. I think everybody's hopeful, obviously. They ended last year well, so.
Yeah.
At least, Gary, you'll be in intimate setting.
Okay, it looks like everybody's here. Yeah, everybody's here. Okay. We are returning to our regular session. If I could get a show of hands or a yes that we are all in our rooms alone. Yes? Thank you.
Yes.
I would like to restart our regular session. It is now 6:19. And back to our agenda. Oops, shoot, I lost the agenda again. Ah,
So first thing we need to do is just report back on
yeah,
what we did. You want me to do that, Julie?
yeah, give me 1 second. Sorry, here we go. Okay, yeah, it's great.
Okay, so Maunakea Management Board met in executive session with our attorney to discuss our role and obligations during this joint transition period where we're in jointly managing with the Maunakea Stewardship Oversight Authority. No decisions were made, no recommendations were made, no votes were taken, no actions were taken. And we've since adjourned and now back in our regular session.
Thank you, Greg. I believe we've come to the end of our agenda items. Are there any other new items or concerns that any member of the board would like to take up? Nope, saying no response. I would like to make a announcement regarding our next public meeting, which will be on, oh gosh, September 3rd, 2024 at 5 p.m. No other comments, no other concerns, no other issues. If I could have a motion to adjourn the meeting. Diana, second.
Second,
Greg.
Greg.
Motion to adjourn the meeting, say aye or raise your hand. Motion adopted. This meeting is adjourned at 6:22 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good luck, Greg.
Thank you.
Bye.